Hi there, my name is Beck, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I think one of the few areas in fandom where we can really all agree in Doctor Who fandom is that Big Finish is rather good. Big Finish is a rather good company, putting out a rather good product. But the trouble is, they put out so much of it. There's no way of being able to navigate through it if you're new to it. And so I was lucky. I started getting Big Finish right from the beginning. When it was on cassette, before even CDs, I got when I first saw the ad for their first Bernie Summerfield release, I was like, this is building into something interesting. So I rushed to get it. I'm really glad because I got pretty much a complete collection of everything. So I kind of know everything about everything about the releases. And I do like ongoing releases. By the way, the latest monthly release, Scorched Earth, excellent. I think it's probably one of the best of the year. It's really, really good. So anyway, I've been doing these guides to Big Finish for people who don't know it, but who have never tried Big Finish, have just stuck your toes in. But there's so much of it. I've had to break them down into different categories. With this one, we're going to be talking about the Seventh Doctor, the Seventh Doctor stories, and there are 134 releases that we're gonna be going through in a pretty. It's gonna be doing the speed dating approach. We're just gonna be. By the way, as an interesting side, I know the guy who invented speed dating. It was invented by a guy called Yaakov Deo. It was and it was for Jewish, religious Jewish people who go on these things called shidduch dates, which is when it's you're dating to get married rather than dating to date, and you don't touch each other. It's like a whole. But anyway, that's what speed dating was originally meant. But it caught on. Who'd have thought it? So we're going to do the speed dating approach of going through these releases. I've gone through a lot of them before on these previous guys, but there's quite a lot of overlap. This one we're going to be talking about exclusively the Seventh Doctor releases. So before we get into it, can I ask you guys, can you hit the subscribe button? That would be fantastic. Thank you very much. I am genuinely very, very appreciative of anybody subscribing or even just showing up. Just to show how appreciative I am, go check the video notes. There is a audio story you can download right now. It's Judge Dredd or Alive produced by Big Finish. But you can't get it anymore. The license has lapsed. I think they lost the license, and you can't buy digital. You can't buy a physical copy. So I thought I'll throw them up here for you guys to download. If they ever get the license back, I would really recommend going to BigFinish.com and buying yourself. Assuming that you download it and you listen to it, buy yourself a copy. It would be like $2.99 would be my guess. Totally worth it. But they're not going to get the license back, and they're not going to start selling it. That's not going to happen. That's why I'm posting them here. Anyway, so that's the first thing. Second thing, if you do subscribe, you are eligible to enter my weekly competitions. My weekly competitions are, and prize this week is, I should say, very good. The reason it's a Judge Dredd audio is because it's a Judge Dredd prize. Judge Dredd MECHANISMO, freaking awesome hardback graphic novel of one of the greatest stories in the Judge Dredd universe. It's about the first introduction of robot judges into the Judge Dredd universe. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel and then leave the hashtag I am the law, because Judge Dredd is indeed the law. Fine, so let's look at all these Seventh Doctor releases. I'm going to try and whiz through the ones we talked about before. I've done Big Finish budget releases, which the first 100 or so releases are now. They're like $2.99 each. So I'm going to go through it reasonably quickly if you haven't seen it. But again, this is all the Seventh Doctor. So it starts off Sirens of Time. That was their first release, the multi-Doctor story. Wasn't very good. That was a weak opening, but I'm glad I stuck with them. Next one is Fearmonger by Jonathan Bloom, who I think is married to Kate Allman, who's really one of the greatest authors to come out from the Virgin New Adventures line, and then vanished completely. But she was such a good writer. I'm really surprised that we never saw her again. And it's a very traditional Seventh Doctor, Seventh Doctor Ace versus kind of a fascist Britain kind of thing. It's the sort of thing that you would expect to see quite regularly. Next is the Genocide Machine. It's a Dalek story, introduction of a new Dalek. This was a This was a Big Finish's first foray into Daleks. They called this little cycle of stories Dalek Empire until they made a series called Dalek Empire. Then they stopped calling it Dalek Empire. Fathers of Vulcan, really, really good story. It's a Mel story. It's one of the best Mel stories they've ever done. Really good historical. Who wrote that? Did they say? No, on the old covers they didn't say who wrote it, but it was a particularly good story. Set in Roman times. Oh, it must be. Is it set in Pompeii? I'm surprised he didn't bump into David Tennant. I totally got to listen to that again. If it's set in Pompeii, I totally have to listen to that again and see how it sinks into what was that episode? Fathers of Pompeii? I guess Fathers of Pompeii. Maybe it's in a different place altogether, but I think it's in Pompeii. Shadow of the Scourge is a crossover into the Virgin New Adventures world, which was still, I think, going or just finished at the time. Terrible cover. There's a much better fan cover you can find online. Dust Breeding reintroduce. Can I spoil it? Yeah, the Dust Breeding reintroduces the Master and a new version of the Master. They kept that off the cover. Reasonably good story, and then Colditz. Colditz is another one that you might want to get because there's a character that comes back in it. Colditz, pretty much what it says on the tin. The Seventh Doctor and Ace trapped in Colditz in World War II. Excellus Decays is part of the Excellus series, which they got Anthony Stewart Head from the Nescafe commercials and Buffy the Vampire Slayer to come in and do a series of like 3 or 4 stories that are all interlinked. They had different Doctor. That none of them were very good. 12.75 for that. Ooh, blimey! That's not worth it. See, that's why you need these guys. That's why you need these guys. Rapture was a good one. That was about something like youth culture in Ibiza, in Ibiza, like the whole dance scene, like the club scene. So this would be like in the early 2000s. So yeah, whatever was hip back then. Bang Bang and Boom. Fun. That's a fun release. Bang Bang and Boom is a fun release. It's essentially the Eurovision Song Contest in space with Graham Gardner not playing the meddling monk, but he's been pretty darn good in it. It's one of the more whimsical ones. Another, I tell you, 7th Doctor and Mel really was what's the word? I was going to say regenerated. No, was not resurrected. I don't know. Was very much improved on audio. Dark Flame, also set in the new Virgin New Adventures universe. Not very good. Skippable one, I would recommend. Project Lazarus, excellent. I think it's much more of a Colin Baker story with a cameo by Sylvester McCoy. Or it's much more a Sylvester McCoy story with a cameo by Colin Baker. I think the cameo is by Sylvester McCoy. Interesting story. This deals with the there's a whole Project Lazarus, project this, project that. Mainly Colin Baker stories about this nefarious government group using kind of like X-Files-y type technology to repurpose aliens and ghosts and ghoulies for Britain. as I recall, Flip Flop is a really clever release. They set themselves the task of the release came in 2 discs, and so they wanted them to have them not numbered. You could play either disc first, again because the story is like a circular one. It all works. That's actually a recommend as well. That's $2.99, strong recommend. Doctor Who Master. This was part of the super villain series. It was they had the Master, they had Omega, they had Davros. Davros was the best of them. This one was okay. It was actually a bit of an interesting character piece. Again, $2.99, you really can't go wrong. Zagreus was their big 50th release, and not entirely successful. This tied up a lot of loose ends from the ongoing Paul McGann era. Go and check out my Paul McGann guide, and set up for his next part. And they did have Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Peter Davison, and all playing other roles, which was kind of they were trying to stretch the format. Harvest was a pretty good Cybermen story. It introduced Hex. Hex became kind of an important main character. And although for his first few releases, he was just kind of like generic companion with a bit of a Scouse accent. Dreamtime was pretty interesting. It dealt with like Maori conceptions of metaphysical space. That one actually really worked well. Again, $2.99, great deal. Unregenerate was one of the stories that was going to be in a unmade season 27, maybe 28, and I think was going to be the way Sylvester McCoy regenerated. I don't remember much about this actual story, but I remember it not being kind of dull. I was looking forward to it, and I didn't enjoy it as much. But then again, I was in a different place then, so I don't know what I would feel about it now. I should give it another listen. I haven't listened to it in time. Live 34 was particularly good as well. It's another Sylvester McCoy, Sophie Aldred, and Philip Oliver now fighting the man. Fighting racism and oppression. Oppressive societies. I think it's all kind of told through radio announcements. I think something along those. That's pretty good. Night Thoughts I remember being a darn creepy one. It's got a creepy cover. Also was it Hex, Ace, and the Seventh Doctor. Suffering as well. Suffering. Oh no, The Settling was a war story. I think I can't remember this. It's like some Middle Ages war story, which we did see quite a lot of with the Doctor and Hex, Seventh Doctor, Hex, and Ace. Red, I don't remember. I remember it not being very good. That's what I really remember about it. But No Man's Land, I remember being rather good. It's had what's his name in it? Michael Cochrane was in it. Set in World War One, and again, very very much in the theme of the Seventh Doctor, kind of like trying to do contemporary stories. Nocturne, I remember quite liking, but don't remember anything about it at all. Like nothing at all. Frozen Time, again, I think that was the Silurian story, if I recall. Return of the Daleks is more of a sequel to the Dalek Empire series. Not the Dalek Empire with the Doctor, the Dalek Empire with the Daleks on their own. Not a bad release. This was a subscriber only release. It's got what's his name in it? Blake from Blake 7. Gareth Thomas is in it playing Colin of the Knights of A Night of Leisure. Dark Husband. Again, this is kind of, I would like give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. All these old stories they should just bring down to $2.99. No one's paying $12.99 for these. See this one. Death Collectors was pretty interesting as I recall. This was one where it was a companionless Seventh Doctor, as was Kingdom of Silver, pretty decent Cybermen story. 45 was fun. 45 is one of the Port Mario releases where they have four different one episode story. I guess that must have been the 45th anniversary story. Would be my guess. Yeah, the timing is right. Keter Time is basically is much more of an Ace story. It's a companion chronicle. Magic Mousetrap, really good one. Really, that one features the return of the Celestial Toymaker. This time played by guy from Robots of Death, who they had played the Celestial Toymaker a few times, and pretty darn good. So I just remember the cliffhanger to episode 1 is completely unintelligible. The cliffhanger to episode 1 is totally a visual cliffhanger and doesn't really work on audio. Enemy of the Daleks, I don't recall at all, but I should do because it's a Dalek story. I like Daleks. Which makes me think it probably wasn't very good then. Angel Scarlatti was a good story. It's a set in it's another. You get Ace, Hex, and the Seventh Doctor in lots of war stories. This time they're in the Crimea War. Bernard Summerfield and the Criminal Code. That's a companion chronicle. You hear Lisa Bauman do an impersonation of Sylvester McCoy, and it's awful. And it's like legitimately awful. Now, 1,000 Tiny Wings is the beginning of a really good a set of stories. This time it's featuring Klein. Klein was I can't say the word here on YouTube, one of the National Socialists from the 1930s in Germany. She was introduced in Colditz, the release Colditz, and an alternate timeline was made up. So essentially this National Socialist Yahtzee type person ended up traveling with the Doctor. And it was really interesting. Tracy Charles was really good as Klein, and these are all strong recommends. This was a good series of. Well, the initial one was three stories. So 1,000 Tiny Wings, which I think was the best of them. Survival of the Fittest, I think was a bit skippable. And Architects of History, I think was excellent. As I recall, that was excellent. Project Destiny is another one, the Project Lazarus type stories. This is a little. This has a bit of an ongoing story arc. I think it concerns Evelyn, which is the Sixth Doctor companion played by Maggie Staples, who now sadly has passed away. So yeah, Project Destiny, I think, dovetails straight into a death in the family, which is another evening story, and I think this was her final appearance, and it sets up some themes that they move forward with. Locals at Sunlight's Edge was a Lovecraftian adventure. Skippable, I would say. But the Four Doctors, which you can't get, it's interesting. That's not for sale. Was a subscriber only release. Pretty darn good. So the next thing, we're going in chronological order. Next thing is the Missing stories. They did the Missing season 27, which was kind of just like a bunch of notes that Andrew Cartmel had with Ben Harwich and Mark Platt, and they weren't really filled out so well. So what they did here, they wrote out Ace with the Ice Warriors, set in 1960s London, but they set up an alternate home for the Doctor, kind of like the Unit family. What it was, he makes friends with a underworld boss in the story, Thin Ice. And then 20 years later, he ends up meeting her daughter, who becomes the companion. And the way they were going to introduce her, if it was on TV, would be this companion's like a cat burglar. So it's again very, very similar to what's his name? The not Waters of Mars, Planet of the Dead. Was it Michelle Ryan? Was that her name? A companion. So she was there. She's eventually because this criminal has made it big. So his daughter's been raised as a posh aristocrat, but she doesn't like it. She much prefers being a criminal, and she breaks in she's at a swanky party when she was introduced, and she goes into a back room. She breaks into a safe, and inside she finds Sylvester McCoy, who says, "Oh, what have you been waiting for?" So yeah, so that's that she was played by what's her name? Beth Chambers. Beth Chambers, who's in a lot of doesn't really work. I don't think that it was the best casting. She doesn't really sell it to me as being this posh this posh girl who wants to be a criminal. Brigadier Bambera comes back in Animal. I remember it being pretty good. On Earth, they deserve another. It's when they introduce the Matraxi. I think it's a Matraxi. Although wasn't that the name? Well, no, that's the name that what's the name from the 11th Hour? The Atraxi, not the Atraxi, the Matraxi, who were an alien menace designed for the Doctor Who stage show that they never went with that script version of it, and Terrence Dicks writing it for being the Ultimate Adventure, which is also available from Big Finish. Okay, then we go into this. We introduce Liv Chenka, who becomes a companion for the 8th Doctor over here in Robophobia. That's the next release. It's set on Caldor City, or the planet Caldor City. Pretty darn good. Yeah, it brings back the robots of death. I'm glossing over the Short Trips release. Doomsday Quatrain and House of Blue Fire. Both of them I don't recall that well, but I remember kind of irritating me. They took a while just to pull themselves together. Again, this is a companionless Doctor traveling around. Now we're back to, I think, one of the best trilogies they did with the 7th Doctor, Hex and Eighth. Although, by the way, you do need the House of Blue Fire because it introduces the characters that come into over here in black and white. So you have this cycle of 3 stories: Protect and Survive, Black and White, and Gods and Monsters, which type all the loose arcs, the loose ends that have been building up. This, I think, this ties to the project releases, and it ties to Curse of Fenric. Really, really good 3 releases, which has kind of a devastating finale, which I thought was really good. And then it ties in once more a companion Chronicles list. Then going completely in a different direction, we have this one-off, this Unit Dominion, which introduces a new master played by Alex McQueen. But, this set doesn't really get much love. It doesn't get talked about, but it's really good. It is really good. I think it's overpriced at $35. They should have it on download for cheaper. It's a 4-disc set, and they never did any more with them. But it really ties into a lot of different versions of the Seventh Doctor. You've got it ties into the Lost Season 27, and it's kind of branches off on that different timeline there. But it's pretty good. Love and War is an adaptation of the New Adventures book. Excellent New Adventures book. Excellent release. Really, really liked it. That's a strong recommend. Shadow Heart introduces what's her name from not Babylon 5, Deep Space Nine, Lita, the Dabo girl, who I met once. Well, I didn't meet. I was in a convention once, and she was sitting up at a table next to where I was standing. I only noticed because I just noticed it had to be one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire life was standing like 3 inches away from me. What is her name again? Chase Masterson. So she plays this bounty hunter, and they span her off into her own series for two or three seasons. Not bad. It's like pretty decent science fiction fare. It's okay. It's a fine distraction, reasonably missable. Destiny of Doctors, you can miss all of those releases. None of them were really good. That I can remember. Persuasion is another one. We're back in the Klein trilogy, another Klein trilogy, and they're all really good. The Klein ones. So yeah, Persuasion, Starlight Robbery, and Daleks Among Us. I remember Daleks Among Us being particularly good. I think they introduced another companion for these 3 releases as well. Light at the End is the big 50th anniversary story. Excellent story, multi-Doctor story. Really, really good. So then we go into this 1963 cycle. It's 3 stories with 3 different Doctors, all set in 1963. This is where the 7th Doctor and 8th meets up with the Countermeasures team once again. Pretty darn good story. Again, that one's a recommend. So now we're in the post Protect and Survive, that 3-disc set, that 3-story set, and Philip Oliver Hex. His role has changed dramatically, and they do something pretty interesting with him in these 3 stories. So there's Afterlife when they're coming to the terms of the kind of the season finale that they went through with what's the name of that story again? It's back with Gods and Monsters, right? So this deals with the aftermath of that. Revenge of the Swarm brings back what's they called again? From the Invisible Enemy, the big prawn guy from the Invisible. Pretty good story. And Mask of Tragedy was actually excellent. I really, really liked that one. As I did enjoy Signs and Wonders, but that's 4. I know. So Afterlife was an individual release, and then the set of 3 were these: Revenge of the Swarm, Mask of Tragedy, and Signs and Wonders. All of them above average. In the middle of that, you had the New Adventures of Bernie Somerville. This is another kind of spin-off in the New Adventure universe, and it kind of like this marks a new direction that they sent Bernie Somerville in. She did another box set with Sylvester McCoy's Doctor before going off and doing box sets with David Warner's Unbound Doctor, which are pretty good. David Warner plays him kind of like a drunk Hartnell, but so that's a pretty good box set right there. Higher Science is another adaptation by Gareth Rolls' book. Really good. Really, really good. Recommend it highly. A lot of fun. Damaged Goods. Even better adaptation. This is really interesting because it's from a Russell T Davies new adventure book, and you really see the beginnings of his Doctor Who. You see like the proto Rose and the proto Power State. It's it's an interesting one. So then we get into something different. The Step-In trilogy where the normal Doctor has been replaced. Oh no, the Doctors find himself replaced with another incarnation. So this is the 7th Doctor with Joe Grant. A lot of fun. I really, really like like that release. Then we get another one of the New Adventures of Bernie Somerville, this time versus Sutek. Both these ones are pretty weird. These are a little bit untraditional. Game Over. We Are The Daleks is another one of the 4 individual stories. I believe, is that the one? No, that's not an individual story. That's okay. That's okay. I give that one a 6, which is not good for a Dalek story, but it's okay. Terra The Sontarans was pretty good though, as was The Warehouse. These were, I would say, about 7.5 out of 10. Then we got more adaptations. The All-Consuming Fire, which is the Seventh Doctor, and Sherlock Holmes, which Nick Bligstreet plays Sherlock Holmes. Good release. Again, recommend. Theatre of War, not quite as good, but not bad. You Are the Doctor. This is one of the 4 individual stories, 4 individual one-part story releases. They put these ones out for anniversaries or so. It's okay. This one isn't the best one, but it's okay. Nightshade, another excellent adaptation. This time from a Mark Platt new adventure. The 2 Masters were part of the Masters cycle. Very good. Again, very good. This is the Jeffrey Beaver's Master, the Crispy Master, and Alex McQueen's Master, who I really liked. Life of Crime introduced Mel back into the ongoing adventures with the Doctor and Ace. So this is, I guess, in another kind of like timeline when it's just the Doctor and Ace. Pretty good. Yeah, that combination worked well, and that's a combination they still go. I think they're doing today. Classic monsters, classic Doctors, new monsters. Seventh Doctor versus Sycorax. Yes, that's a good pairing. Fiesta of the Damned and Make of the Demons. This is also the again. It's an older Mel, which makes it kind of interesting. An older Mel and a story. I like it a lot more. Plugging Death to the Doctor. Original Sin. Adaptation of a new Invention Novel along with Cold Fusion. Not great. These ones were not the best ones. I think the early ones were better, but the casting's really good. I really like how they get who was it? Yasmin Bannerman plays not Quedge, the other one, Forrester, one of the adjudicator companions, basically kind of like the judges from Judge Dredd. We're going back to Judge Dredd. Cold Fusion, I thought, was one of the weakest of the adaptations. Sylvester McCoy, I would say, cameoed in one of the Diary of River Song releases. Yeah, mediocre. Shadow Planet, World Apart is still. They kind of like. I think that was the last. Seventh Doctor, Ace, and Sorta Hex releases. They kind of been like at a loss to know what to do with them ever since that big Gods and Monsters finale. High Price of Parking was kind of fun. As was Blood Furnace wasn't as good, but High Price of Parking was kind of like a goofy Douglas Adam-esque story. Yeah, I think that's above average. Silurian Candidate, they're getting a bit into Trump derangement syndrome. This one, they have a populist politician who's clearly meant to be Donald Trump, and I think that kind of overshadowed everything. But this is we're in 2017 now. Red Planet, really good. They Seventh Doctor, Ace and Mel end up in an alternate Earth where Russia essentially won the Cold War. Interesting one. I like that one. That's a recommend. No, they got the first part for free. You can check it out. The Dispossessed. It was somewhat forgettable. And Quantum Possibility Engine was actually really good. It's had Dogboat Bolter, a villain from the comic strips. Then we got Warlock's Cross, which brings back Klein once again. I kind of like all the stories of the Klein. She's a really interesting companion. And then they did a box set, which I hope they do more of. The Seventh Doctor New Adventures. So it's basically got Sylvester McCoy, Yasmin Bannerman, and whoever it is who plays Quedge. This is the New Adventures of the Seventh Doctor, Quedge, and Forrester companion team up. Not bad. $30, I think, a bit overpriced. Honestly, after these things get to be a year old, they should just all come down, or they should just have a streaming service that you can pay like $10 a month to access 100 stories. That's probably what they should be doing. Musa Phi is a what's the name? Iris Wildthyme. Sorry, I love Iris Wildthyme. Terrible cover, though. Terrible cover, which is funny. Can't just put me off of the adventure, but it was a pretty good story nonetheless. So then they did this really weird trilogy, which they only have one of here. Where is the rest of them? I don't know. It must have just been. I thought they did more of them. Monsters of where are they? That's weird. That is weird. Let me see if I can find the. That's so weird. Let me see if I can. Now I'm going to have to open a new window because I think they're missing this trilogy where they had the Doctor and Mags from Greatest Show in the Galaxy, and it wasn't the greatest trilogy, but I wanted to show it to you guys anyway. So we had Doctor and Mags. It was Willful London. Anyway, an alien werewolf in London. Okay. 6 out of 10. Musa Phi, that was stronger, 7. And Monsters of Gokroch, again, okay, nothing. I actually thought that whole sequence was quite missable. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here. That's a bit of a glitch they got going there. So then we got the most recent trilogy of stories, which was a bit of a damp squib, I'm afraid. We got Dark Universe, which introduced the 11, which is a fantastic villain from the 8th Doctor. Really, really fantastic villain. But this release was just a bit too slight. It should have been a 4-disc set, and it just was kind of throwaway. Psychic Circus was a sequel to The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, and very disappointing. This script should never have been greenlit. It's one of the worst releases they've done. And Subterfuge is okay. It's a post-war Churchill story with the meddling monk played by Rufus Hound, who I really love. Rufus Hound's meddling monk. But it's the story is the best of the trilogy of 3. But it's still in deeply average territory. That whole cycle was not great. So yeah, there you go. That brings us up to date with Sylvester McCoy's stories, and I think that's probably a pretty what's the word, comprehensive guide to help you work your way through it. My name is Fila Becker, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.